Hello everyone, thank you for joining me again and welcome to any new viewers. This is To The Point English with Ben. I'm Ben, and in this video I'm going to share my 10 favourite English idioms. Because everyone has their favourite idioms, right? Or is it just weird English teachers with an obsession with vocabulary? Well, these are my favourite English idioms because, first of all, they're quite fun, but more importantly, they're used in real life. I use these idioms and they're used by other native English speakers. Now, you must be careful when using idioms in general, and specifically these idioms, because they are quite colloquial. They're not appropriate for sort of formal writing tasks for your English exams, for example, but they're perfectly appropriate and acceptable in spoken English, even in the speaking paper of your Cambridge English exam. But they are quite colloquial and not to be used in more formal situations. So, the first idiom I have for you today is to know which side your bread is buttered, or to know which side your bread is buttered on. So this basically means to know what to do, or how to treat someone, or how to behave with someone in order to get some benefit for yourself. Okay, so the example? Dirk always makes his boss a cup of coffee in the morning. He knows which side his bread is buttered on. So suggesting that Dirk is doing this, he's making his boss a cup of coffee because he needs to keep his boss happy because it's beneficial to him. Now, believe it or not, this idiom is actually from the 16th century, so it's really old. I think it was just originally used as sort of a way to illustrate this idea, sort of in a metaphorical sense. We don't need to analyse or go too deep into why they've used bread and butter. It was just one author who decided to use it as a way to illustrate this idea. Okay, the second idiom I have for you today is to have another think coming. To have another think coming. Yes, it's think, not thing, although some people make that mistake. They say thing instead of think. It should be think. And yes, it's grammatically incorrect, right? To have another think. You would think it would be to have another thought coming. But no, it's like a fixed expression, it's an idiom. And we use this to suggest that someone is mistaken and they need to reconsider what they believe or what they think or what they have said. So the example? If you think that AI is going to solve all the world's problems, you've got another think coming. So I'm speaking to someone who believes that AI is the solution to everything, right? Every issue in the world. But I'm saying you're wrong, you're mistaken. You've got another think coming, so you need to reconsider. I'm really emphasizing that I believe, or I'm pretty sure that you're wrong. Another quick example, more sort of day-to-day example. If you think I'm going to buy you that PlayStation for Christmas, you've got another think coming. And the next one, number 3, is to get blood from a stone. Or we often say it's like getting blood from a stone. And this means to try to extract something from someone, but it's almost impossible. So it may be trying to get some information from someone, it could be getting some money from someone for contribution to something, but it's just impossible, or almost impossible. You can think, trying to get blood from a stone, obviously it is literally impossible to get blood from a stone because stones don't have blood. So it's really sort of trying to describe this sense of frustration when you're trying to get something from someone, but they're very resistant, or it's just a really hard work. It's almost impossible. So let's look at an example. The government should do more to tackle the climate crisis, but convincing them to act is like getting blood from a stone. So it's almost impossible. It's really, really difficult to get the government to take action to tackle the climate crisis. And the next one, number 4, is a sight for sore eyes. A sight for sore eyes. I really like this one and I do use it. And we use this to refer to something or someone that you are really pleased, really happy to see for whatever reason that may be. So I have a couple of examples for this one. After hours of running, the finish line was a sight for sore eyes for the marathon runners. If you've ever run a marathon, you'll know what that's like. You're running for 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe hours. And you finally see the finish line and it's a sight for sore eyes. It's like you're so pleased, so happy to see the finish line. Another example, when Jim gets home from a long day at work, his family is a sight for sore eyes. So you can imagine where this idiom comes from, right? You have sore eyes, your eyes are hurting. So you want something to ease the pain or ease this irritation in your eyes. So if you see something nice, it helps with the sore eyes. Of course, it's in a metaphorical sense. It's not literal, it's figurative. Okay, number 5, to rub salt into the wound. This is an interesting one. This basically means to make a bad, difficult or painful situation even worse. So you can imagine if you have a wound is like a cut, an open cut. And if you literally rub salt into the wound, it's going to make the pain even worse. It's just going to make the situation worse. Again, we're not talking literally when we use this idiom. In most situations, it's figurative, it's metaphorical, as you can see from this example. When Greg failed his exam, his sister rubbed salt into the wound by reminding him that he probably wouldn't get his dream job now. It's pretty cruel, right, of his sister? So Greg is probably pretty unhappy, right, because he failed his exam. That's a bad situation, that's not pleasant. But his sister is rubbing salt into the wound, making it worse by reminding him that he wouldn't get his dream job. So, you know, he was feeling bad, now he feels even worse. Okay, number 6 now. And this is in for a penny, in for a pound. Or often we just say in for a penny. We don't need to say the whole idiom. But in for a penny, in for a pound is used when we want to describe a situation when you start doing something and you should finish it or complete it, even if it's difficult or a bigger job than you originally thought. Okay, so this sounds quite complicated, but with the example, I think you'll understand it. I only intended to decorate one room, but now I'm doing the whole house. In for a penny, in for a pound. So as I said, often we just say in for a penny, but it's kind of like an exclamation rather than forming part of a complete sentence. It's just when you've decided to do something and go further and complete the job, you say in for a penny and sometimes in for a pound. Okay, number 7 is when push comes to shove. Now, for those of you who pay attention to my community posts on my YouTube channel, you will have seen this. I regularly post little quizzes on my community page, sometimes vocabulary, sometimes grammar. And this was a recent one, and I really like this idiom, so I wanted to explain it a little bit more in this video. But when push comes to shove refers to when a situation becomes critical or urgent. So the example, I hate studying for exams, but when push comes to shove, I do what I have to. So in this case, this person hates studying for exams, but when the situation becomes urgent, maybe the exam is getting closer and closer, it's critical, then they take the action that is necessary. They do what they have to do. So the origin of this idiom, you may have worked it out. We have the words push and shove, and they're really synonyms basically. To push and to shove, it's the same action. If you're pushing someone or shoving someone, but shove is more aggressive. It's a more emphatic action. So when you think of a situation and a fight or some kind of altercation, when someone pushes someone, yeah, that's bad, but a shove is much more serious, more aggressive and more intense. So when push comes to shove, you know, shove is when the situation gets really critical. That's where you have to take action. So again, it's metaphorical, it's figurative. We're not really talking about physically pushing or shoving anyone. Okay, number 8, to be on a hiding to nothing. To be on a hiding to nothing. Again, this is a very British English idiom, and it means to have no chance of being successful at what you are trying to achieve. So it's pretty negative, right? So the example is, although the protesters have good intentions, they're on a hiding to nothing as the powers that be never listen. Okay, so the protesters here have good intentions, but you know, it's futile, really. We're saying that their efforts are basically a waste of time because they're not going to be successful because the powers that be, again, this is another phrase that I tested in one of my quizzes on my community page. The powers of be are the people in authority in whatever situation. They never listen. So the protesters are making this effort, but they're on a hiding to nothing. They have no chance of being successful. So this may seem like quite a strange idiom, right? A hiding to nothing. Hiding, you think of the verb to hide. But in British English, a hiding as a noun, means sort of physical punishment. It's like a beating. The idea of this idiom, if you have a hiding, so you're getting physical punishment for something, and to nothing, so there's no conclusion to it, there's no chance of success. It's just, again, it's kind of a waste of energy and a waste of effort. So perhaps it's better not to do anything. And number 9 is to pull out all the stops. To pull out all the stops. I really like this one. And it means to do everything possible to achieve something. So really to make a big effort to make something happen. And the example sentence is, teachers need to pull out all the stops to ensure that students are engaged in class. Okay, so the teachers need to make a really big effort. They need to do everything within their powers to make sure students are engaged in class. And number 10 now, the last one, and perhaps my favorite, it's to be all ears. To be all ears. We use this phrase when we want to let someone know that they have our full attention. So we are listening 100% to what they're saying. So often it's a reaction. So somebody may say, can I tell you about what happened to me yesterday? And you may say, yeah, of course, I'm all ears. I am all ears. So it's a strange expression because we only have 2 ears, right? Most people have 2 ears. So to be all ears, it's like basically suggesting that you're listening with such focused attention that you are all ears, nothing else. No eyes, nose, mouth, nothing else. You're all ears. So the example sentence, I'm all ears. I'd love to hear your take on the matter. So you're really emphasizing that you're listening very attentively. It could be used in a Cambridge English exam in the speaking paper to really demonstrate that you're paying attention. Okay, what's your favorite idiom? Do you have one? Maybe it's one from my list, or maybe you have another one. Put it in the comments. And don't forget to like this video if you liked it. It really helps out with the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm. You'll be doing me a great favor. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon for another video.